The first two rounds of Virtual Racing League action in the fall of 2018 have brought us some spectacular finishes at Daytona at Chicagoland. But now we head to Atlanta, Georgia in the 1.5 mile quad oval that is so fast and so tricky. Tonight we race for 140 laps in the Chick-fil-A 210 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Finian, the racing we saw last week at Chicago was absolutely phenomenal. Ended with Eli Hinton capturing the victory in a remarkable finish. Just excited to be back here again this week and ready to go racing again on another slick and fast racetrack.
Yeah, a slight update to the points real quick since we are 2 rounds in. Anthony Burrows and Eric Hutton are both tied for first in the points as of 2 rounds in. Behind them, Connor Horn, Raul Martinez, and Steven Turner will round out your top 5.
All right, well, you see Eli Hinton, that beautiful number 13 paint scheme. We're going to ask him about that here in just a minute, but again, Hinton won the race last week, and it was a spectacular finish, bumper to bumper coming to the start-finish line, and just eked out. I believe it was Anthony Burrows in the 62, but it was a great finish.
Yeah, he moved up 19 places in the point standing, all the way up to 7, so that was a good day overall picture-wise for him. But yes, currently doing really well in qualifying. He's, I think, just going to finish his 2nd lap through, and will still remain on top of the charts. No, just got passed by Eric Hutton.
Yeah, Eric Hutton will be our in-race reporter here tonight in that Chick-fil-A number 88 Chevrolet Camaro. Again, Eric Hutton partnering with Virtual Racing League to sponsor this event here tonight. I want to thank Eric for that, and he'll be our in-race reporter. We'll talk to him under the caution flag periods. Jim George in the number 12, another car that was very fast last week at Chicago, sitting 3rd right now on the grid. And Ryan Samsel in the number 83. That's not a car I've seen here yet this year, so it looks like a new entry here tonight. Connor Horn, again, in that number 42 car. Quick last week, but ended up getting a little bit back in traffic when he didn't want to be.
Yeah, Chris Gutierrez, though, decent qualifying effort so far. He's in 8th right now.
And another car that almost just came up a couple spots short, Anthony Burrows in the number 62. New paint scheme, a Twitch paint scheme on board that number 62 Ford Fusion here this week for the Virtual Racing League. And he'll cross the line and take 7th spot away, just 9 thousandths of a second behind 6th place Jeremiah Vincent. Jordan Ashland crosses the line in 9th place in the number 07 Ford Fusion. And a couple others qualifying, Jeremy Miller, Joshua Banks in the 35, getting up to speed right now, working his way through turns 3 and 4.
And notably, too, Josiah Vincent is not here tonight. He, I believe, is at work, so he's watching it from wherever he is right now. So shout out to him, and sad he couldn't be here tonight with us. Hopefully we'll see him next week.
All right, so with about a minute left in qualifying, you see Joshua Banks migrating up to the top of the racetrack. Now, Finian, Atlanta is known for being extremely slick. You can crash on the straightaways here. There's not a lot of grip, but changing lanes is pretty tricky, even when the tire fall-off happens.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to try to find speed and work your way around here. Any little upsetment to the car, and actually let's see if we can see how slick it is tonight with checking the race info.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I wasn't sure where we were going with that. Anyway, yeah. 75 degrees in the air, 102 degrees Fahrenheit on the racetrack, Finian. That's hot, that's slick.
Yeah, definitely really anything over 100 will start to get a little bit slippery, so you can see Banks are almost in the wall there. But yeah, you have to be very careful with depending on the lines that you're running. And just watching your exit off the corner, because if you upset the car too much, it'll start sliding around. Yeah,
I'm interested to see Joshua Banks try that upper lane, because Atlanta is known for sometimes being a multi-groove racetrack, but I think the way that the conditions are today, it's going to be tricky to get up there and make speed. Maybe really late in the run, but I think the quickest line going to be probably somewhere around the bottom.
Yeah, typically people like to migrate towards the bottom. Might shift up a few lanes as the run goes on and the tires start to fall off. And people try to look for some speed, so we're potentially looking at that going forward.
Qualifying complete here for the Virtual Racing League, and we'll get them gridded up and ready to go. And, of course, the 88, probably going to be the car to beat here tonight. Finian. Eric Hutton, just absolutely phenomenal in practice and in qualifying.
Yeah, on top of both timesheets, so he's sitting nicely, although he's currently in 2nd. I'm trying to figure out who just beat him for pole. Didn't quite catch that.
The Angelo Rodas in the number 31 will be starting out in front. In that 31 car. Again, another guy we talked about his Daytona race, salvaged a fantastic finish out of there, but wasn't much of a factor last week at Chicagoland.
Surprisingly so, too. I expected a little bit more out of him. He's going to be starting on pole here. Eli Hinton and then Jim George rounding out your second row.
Yeah, and as this ticks, let's go grab Eli Hinton, driver the number 13. I wanted to talk to him a little bit about last week's finish, as it was a pretty exciting race, and hopefully we can talk to Eli real quick and get a hold of him. Hey, Eli Hinton, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, right now you're going to be starting, where were you starting? I didn't even see where you're starting.
P3.
P3. Oh, there you are. You're looking right at you. Anyway, Eli, last week you won at Chicagoland Speedway. Very fast, very slick racetrack. Here tonight, similar conditions, a little bit different racetrack. How are you liking that number 13 here this evening?
Well, I love it. I love this racetrack at Atlanta. It's one of my favorite, probably my favorite mountain half. This or Charlotte. Nice and slick, and get the high line in 1 and 2. It's going to be really fun. Hopefully we can get this Federal Bikes machine to victory lane.
And you got a new paint scheme on board, that number 13 here this week. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Just a new paint scheme I had for this week, kind of spur of the moment. I'm going to run this one in my Gatorade Propel Ford Fusion, like split 50-50.
All right, well, we want to wish you good luck out there tonight. Keep it off the wall, keep it on the gray stuff, and keep that thing pointed in the right direction, and we'll see you later tonight.
Okay, see you. Have fun up there.
All right, thanks a lot. That was Eli Hinton, last week's winner. And looking through the field here, getting gridded up and ready to go again. Angelo Ronis on that front row in that Peak 31 car, Finney, and you see Eli packing up there a little bit on the grid. Yeah, but again, Ronis, great qualifying effort here tonight. Didn't see a whole lot of speed out of him last week at Chicago, as we were mentioning, but here tonight, things could potentially change for that 31 team.
Yeah, I was going to say, he really needs a little bit more luck this season. Ran decent at Daytona, not so much like we were talking about at Chicagoland, but looks like he's back on form here, starting on pole, so this should be good looking forward for that 31 car.
All right, field's going to roll off for one pace lap around here. Then we'll turn them loose here tonight, Finian, and 140 laps around here. This place gets slick, but on the start, I mean, this is a relatively long race, so patience is a virtue here tonight, you think?
Oh, definitely. I think patience is a virtue here. You know, you want to try to race each other as it is a race, but you got to kind of figure out how your car's handling, how you are handling around this track. It gets very slippery, very fast, and sometimes you can under-anticipate that. So if you're trying to race and make a pass around someone, you might find yourself getting your car upset trying to make the pass, and you might go sliding around. So you want to kind of watch yourself and figure out how the race is handling, and then trying to figure out what to do from there.
All right, so 2 Chevrolet Camaros on the front row. Then it's Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Chevy. That's the front 3 rows here. Pace car's making its way through turns 3 and 4. It's going to peel off and give us 140 laps of racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the 3rd round of the Virtual Racing League Cup Series. Again, the Chick-fil-A 210 here this evening. Pace car's going to pull off, and it'll leave the field in the hands of Angelo Ronis, and green flag in the air here at Atlanta. Whoa! And already the 83 car, I believe, is the one that is out of control.
Saved it, though. He's going to keep it down on the grass as everyone else made it through that.
And almost spun the car there, and he's going to lose all those starting spots that he had qualified and earned, but already huge change from position. Angelo Ronis fires off, and Eric Hutton left in the tire tracks there. But off of turn 2, back behind there's Chris Gutierrez, who also qualified a little bit better, but got stacked up in all that chaos at the beginning.
It looks like everyone's pretty much made it through the first few corners here. And again, you can see most of the guys are migrating to the bottom side of the track, and if you look just visually, that you can tell how much more rubbered in that groove is. So it's a lot more it's a lot more grippy down there. So these guys are going to try to run that line.
Oh, look at the 36 of Elliott Butler right on the rear bumper of Alec Daffin, and Alec Daffin again taken out in a wreck last week at Chicagoland after running pretty well. So Daffin trying to rebound a little bit this week. Got another car slow on the apron there, and
yeah, that's a lap car. Or someone who started from the
Casey Lacados there, yes indeed. 1 lap down already. Let's check back up front here. Ronis got Eric Hutton all over the rear bumper of that 31 car.
Yeah, it's a reason that Hutton was the top of practice here and pretty much almost the top of qualifying. And here you have pretty much what seems to be early on your 3 cars to beat here, the 31, the 88, and the 13.
Yeah, Camaro Fusion, but Eli Hinton, again, last week's winner, very good on the slick racetracks here, and looks like he'll be fast again tonight as we drive off into turn 3. Already 3 laps complete as they come around to finish this one up.
And notably, too, Ronis running the high line compared to the 88 and the 13, so already trying to maybe look for some different grip, look for a bit better line, perhaps?
Maybe so. Look at Eli Hinton trying to experiment. He's kind of been in a couple different lanes already, following the 88's tire tracks that time through, but curious to see what Hinton does here. I'm kind of watching him to see what he's learning out from behind Eric Hutton. Again, Hutton's probably the quickest car here tonight, and just got out qualified by that 31 by just a hair.
There you see 3 completely different grooves, the high, the middle, and the low there. by our top 3 competitors.
Oh, watch out. Hutton didn't get a great run off of turn 4, and it looks like Hinton's going to try to fill that gap as we drive off into turn 1. 200+ miles an hour off into turn 1. Look at the 88 Hutton down to the inside. Behind him, Connor Horn all the way up against the wall. Shades of Kyle Larson up there.
Yeah, and I mean, again, 42 paint scheme, very fitting. Did something similar almost at Chicagoland, I believe, a few times.
Yeah, he was really up there all the time and using that outside lane. Look at Hinton, though, all the way up against that outside wall. Got to watch those marbles up there. You don't want to get yourself into those. Those are not very grippy. As he drives around, Eric Hutton is going to try to take the second spot away.
Actually, notably, we can look on the 42's car. I believe he had some damage to the front end of his nose.
Caution's out here, Finian, already. We got one spun around. It looks like to be
Whoa,
the
big
57.
crash.
Oh, several cars involved. Zach Carr. Oh, he's really torn up in that Liberty Camaro. The caution out early here at Atlanta, and 57 and 77, the two that I can immediately see that are involved. Let's go take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm guessing this probably happened off of floor.
And so there's the 77 of Zach Carr all the way against the outside lane. Gets loose on exit.
Ooh.
Spins across the racetrack. Kind of tank slaps it around and just nowhere. Oh, the 92 of Evan Black got a piece of it. The 57 just could not get that thing slowed down.
Yeah, and you know, you might say, why don't you just slam on the brakes? But it's very, very tricky to try to slam on the brakes, because if you slam on the brakes, and remember, it's a tri-oval here, so you have to turn while you continuously go around the front straightaway, so...
You can't see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many cars in the way, so he sees the smoke, and he's already on the brakes here. He just can't do anything to stop.
Yeah, and pretty much when you slam on the brakes, you just go flying forward. So, again, really hard to slow these things down and nowhere for him to go.
And Evan Black also got a piece of that, and we're going to try to ride on board with him here and see what he saw. And unfortunately, he's going to get a piece of this. Again, sees it happening, gets on the brakes, gets down as far left as he can, but ooh, hard right front damage, and that'll probably be some suspension damage at the very least for that number 92.
And tough break for him. He had unfortunate, well, was a victim too in some wrecks last week at Chicagoland.
Yeah, he actually ended up on the side last week at Chicagoland. Kind of a violent impact he had there, but the whole field's going to come down, Finian. Every time you come down, you're taking tires.
Yeah, pretty much. So this track is extremely abrasive. If someone just launched,
flying.
the cone got launched in air. But yeah, the surface is extremely abrasive. The tire fall off is extreme here. So yeah, like you're saying, everyone's pretty much going to come down. Even for 5 laps into a run, everyone wants tires.
Well, everyone but one. Steve Turner stays out in the number 26 car, and maybe to lead a lap and come in, but maybe not. We'll see.
I would think he probably would come into after leading a lap, but there you see the 75 Robert Gaba.
Potentially a 2-tire stop.
No,
didn't stop.
through.
Rolled right through. So Robert Gaba in the number 75 comes on through, and behind him, frantic off pit road, but the 88 beats the 31.
Ooh. And the 42 Horn almost beat Eli Hinton out. Wasn't able to get there in time.
Well, while that crash was happening, Finney, you mentioned that there was some damage on the number 42, and if we ride on board with Eli Hinton and look back, there is definitely a little bit of crinkle. The splitter's bent up there about the center of the race car.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to look at. I'm kind of wondering if he might have gotten that from the initial start. I think maybe with the 83.
Possible, or he was running that high lane too, so he could have scraped that wall a little bit, so there's always that potential. But it looks okay from that angle. It's really low down on the fender, which is strange. So it doesn't look like it would be wall contact. It's more splitter damage than anything. It's hard to see, but the hood's fine. And the Turner and Gaba will come in and get service. That'll turn over the lead to Eric Hutton in the 88. All right, so caution out lap number 6 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and already a little bit of drama, there's some great action going on, and the field spread out pretty nicely. But again, I think the problem is once the tires start wearing out, you're going to lose that grip. It's going to be real easy. I think we'll see a lot of single car incidents here tonight.
There's Mark Emerson all the way on the bottom.
Already 1 lap down and has some damage on the right, significant damage on that right side of that race car.
Yeah, kind of wondering where he got that, unless it looks like he might have just maybe hit the wall and lost some speed there.
Yeah, but again, he had actually recovered really well after last week. Was involved in a bunch of incidents, but managed to fight back and finish pretty well. All right. There's someone having a crazy party upstairs. I can hear the music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Eric Hutton, again, quickest in practice, second in qualifying, and takes the lead under the pit stop sequence here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the 3rd round of the Virtual Racing League Cup Series. And again, he's our in-race reporter tonight. We'll leave him alone for now. We'll come back to him later. This is certainly not going to be our last yellow of the night.
Oh, definitely not so. And it's just, again, it's one of the trickiest tracks to drive here. It's just so loose. And you can, I mean, guys in the Cup Series have a tough time trying to drive around this place. You can only imagine people who pretty much do this for fun. So,
well, let's take a look. If you see the bottom left hand of the ticker there, the track map, that quad oval section on the bottom of that track map there, Finian, the banking really flattens out coming out of turn 4, and with the low grip aggregate, you come off the corner, you got that foot planted to the floor, and the tires on these 750 horsepower machines just spin right out from underneath you.
Yeah, this is one of those places where this is a place where you can actually spin out just trying to go down through the tri-oval. If you turn it the wrong way, you can spin your tires. So that's how loose it is even on the flat part of the track. So again, something these guys got to watch out for. Had a pretty good clean few opening laps considering the big field we have here tonight. So hopefully these guys can get it back going again for another green flag stretch.
And notably, Chris Garrett in the 57 is still in pit lane, but everybody else got it turned around. They're going. So the 77 car, Zach Carr, actually still out on the racetrack in 23rd place. So not the end of the night for him. And with the contact he got, I'm pretty surprised by that. 57 car now back out on track as well. So we started with 32, and we still have 32 in the running here, Finian. So 10 laps in.
And actually, notably, really quick, I'm just going to say this. This was a good chance for the 83 to recover from his start after getting put back in the pack. He's currently in 17th. So.
Wow, so already a pretty good rebound. Again, Samsel started, I believe, let's take a look real quick. I believe he started back in 5th place, so now he's running 17th, and we'll get him restarted here, Finian. Green flag back in the air, Hutton fires off, and let's just watch the field here, make sure everyone gets the power down.
Connor Horn did not get the power down. It's very stacked up on that outside line there.
Already firing off, and you see the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent down to the inside. He'll take away that 5th spot away from Connor Horn, but Horn's going to fight back on the outside lane. Use that momentum into the wall goes Connor Horn off turn 2.
Keeps it going straight, though a little bit of a dent there to that right side. You can see the hood popped up just a little bit. Shouldn't hurt him too much. He's going to pinch the 8 down to the inside. Going to try to get the momentum on the outside.
Jim George behind these two, ready to pounce. Again, George was a factor last week in Chicagoland, and here again trying to make something happen. Look at Joshua Banks in the 35 car right behind AJ Stravato and right in front of Jeremy Miller. He's on the move in that 35.
Yeah, another guy who's got a lot of speed. Did pretty well at Chicagoland last week and looking to do well here. He's just in the top 10, I should say. Currently fighting 9th with 33 of AJ Stravato.
Off into turn 3 at 185 plus miles an hour. They'll be doing 200 on the front straightaway. It's fast. This used to be one of the fastest tracks in NASCAR a couple of years ago, and because the grip has kind of pulled away since then, it's no longer the case. Look at Alec Martinez on the outside of the 71 and Justin Egan. And again, those guys were both working together at Daytona a couple weeks ago. Up at turn 2, everyone kind of getting sorted out here and trying to just get in the long run form here. There's Bruce Boyer, Ryan Samsel trying to recover, and also the 52 or 53 of Ivan Jones, excuse me there. Well, the 83's losing her again, and he managed to bobble and hang on to it, but this already shows you a couple laps after the tires go, when they get warm, they get hot, and they get slippery.
And it just shows you how hard it is to pass, because you have to go out of the main lane to try to make a pass, and you got to be aggressive with that as well. So
the 83's tied off turn 2. Will there be contact? A little bit door-to-door contact with Chris Gutierrez there in the number 6. AJ Stravato and Jeremy Miller side by side. The 30's trying to take that spot away, but again, it's hard to do on the inside. Look, he's loose all over the racetrack, and we're going to see a lot of that tonight. The hands will be working inside these race cars. You're going to be sweating by the end.
As it's a great chance to get a workout here with your arms, because you're going to definitely need to do it especially after 140 laps.
Look at Joshua Banks experimenting with the top side of the racetrack, and again, I don't know if I want to be the first guy up there to test the marbles, but he and Connor Horn were the first guys up there. Horn now moving back up into 4th place after a slow restart.
Able to recover, but lost a lot of time to the leaders. The top 3 are broken away by about a second to 4th place.
And again, Anthony Burrows, number 62, running 5th right now. Finished 2nd last week, was a very, very quick contender. And I expect to see him back up here by the time the night's over. See all the different lines playing out. The majority of the cars on the bottom here, that's where the rubber is right now, so that's where most cars are going to be comfortable. But as the race goes on, you might see some navigation up to the outside lane, especially in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would say by lap 26 to like 30, I think we're going to start seeing guys find out a lot more on the track, get a lot more experimental, especially as the tires wear out.
Now, here's a gaggle back here, the 36 of Elliott Butler. He's really far back here, 22nd. I would have thought he'd been a little bit higher up. Again, had a pretty bad finish last week after staying out on older tires and ended up falling back, I believe, to 17th, I think, is where he finished last week. So Butler already not having a great start to the night here, but he started back in 15th, so he's already slipped backwards a little bit, so uncharacteristic from the 36.
And then Unreal Esports Camaro trying to work his way up through the field. I believe he was a little bit further up, might have gotten a little bit set back on that last round of pit stops.
AJ Stravato and Joshua Banks now fighting. Look at Banks. He's making time up there on that outside lane. Not as quick as the leaders necessarily, but certainly it seems comfortable up there as we have a battle behind them. And that's Egan, Jones, and Boyer again, still side by side. And this gets me nervous, Vinny, this far into a restart when we still got cars side by side.
Yeah. Oh, 71 a little bit loose. He's going to save it.
The grip begins wearing off these race cars, and you're still at the inside and need all the racetrack to save your car.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are giving each other plenty of room between each other. Nice to see they're not leaning on each other just about yet.
And back up, looks like Connor Horn and Burrows traded spots there for a minute and moved Connor Horn up to 4th, but Burrows had the spot for a moment.
It looks like he's hungry to try to chase up to the top of the pack.
Jump back again here, back to that battle. There's Reggie Ortega in the number 2. Some damage to the rear bumper of that Hertz Camaro.
Yeah, well, someone might have gotten into him as you see someone through the grass there. I believe that might have been the 27?
Yeah, Cody Eldred there in the number 27. Looked like he was slow on the main straight.
You're going to save and keep going. There you see the 22 Mark Emerson and 20 Alec Daffin.
Oh, I thought they were going to go 3 wide there for a moment, but they didn't.
And even Daffin, too, was up quite a bit further up in the pack, and now he's outside the top 20. So I think something happened to him on pit stops that put him back.
And let's jump back up to 2nd place here. Look at Eli Hinton trying to take 2nd place away from Angelo Ronis and drove right into the rear bumper. Both these cars might get her way up the racetrack. Look at the 13 dogging the rear bumper of Angelo there.
You can see that Ronis is trying to impede the 13's progress, trying to follow where he's going to go, and that's really holding Hinton up.
And now Hinton will have to try a different lane, drop to the bottom here. 3 and 4, not as top lane dominant as 1 and 2, and here comes Hinton to the inside, but maybe that run from the outside lane will help Ronis down the straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like it will as you see the 13 trying to turn in, keep it to the inside of the 31.
Ooh, tucked right up behind that quarter panel. Didn't waste any time there.
So you see the 13 migrate down, the 31's going to follow him. A lot of mirror driving going on, and you see Ronis is doing a great job of defending.
Action all over this racetrack. Let's check back in here. This is for, looks like ultimately 11th spot. Alec Martinez, Jeremy Miller, and Ben Izenga all battling for spots there. 2 Toyotas and a Camaro. Whoa, look at the 30 loose here, Finney, and he's out of control, but he hangs onto it. He's going to get eaten alive by the cars behind him.
And
Chris Gutierrez
yeah,
through the grass on the front straightaway, and this is where it gets chaotic here. Steve Turner's going to have somewhere to go here with Elliott Butler in front of him, trying to get around the slow Gutierrez.
You see Butler working to the outside, trying to get around him, but yeah, great recovery by that 6.
And we're going to see that all night tonight, people catching slides, and the good thing is you can kind of slide these cars around a little bit, but it makes the tires very angry, and once you get them hot, it's real hard to cool them back down.
Yeah, you want your tires warm, and you don't want them really too hot. That's when they start really losing their grip, and it's just a nightmare to try to drive around here.
Reggie Ortega moving forward again in that number 2 car. The 83 has had a rough night here so far, but trying to claw his way back forward after almost spinning out on the initial start.
Yeah, spun out. Oh,
wow, look at Ortega.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be 3 wide here, heading into 3. This is going to be a little sketchy.
Who backs out?
No one does.
Gutierrez is going to have to give way here, but look at Elliott Butler on the outside now. The 2 slides up.
Wow.
Almost hits the quarter panel. 6 is going to drop to the bottom. 3 wide on the front straightaway. Contact. The 6 is going to go into the grass.
Yeah, it was a little bit of netco there.
Yeah, he's going to have to back out of it. Through the ground. Almost a mirror image of what happened a lap ago.
Yeah.
And look at the 2 driving up in front of the 91 of Levi Poland. He's going to take that spot away from him.
Yeah, 2 Ortega doing some very aggressive defending.
This is a crazy race back here. This is really for only 16th spot, but they're fighting hard for it.
Yeah, they're fighting almost like it's for the win here. You can see that no one here wants to give up an inch. So you see the 91 of Poland diving to the outside all the way up towards the wall.
Yeah, this is very much like what we saw at the end of Chicago last week, Vinny. And there was a lot of yellows in that race at Chicago, but when it was green, it was wild, and that's what we're seeing so far here tonight.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised it's almost cleaner than Chicagoland.
Yeah, well,
here.
oh, we got the 91 up in the wall there, Vinny, and bounced off of it.
I don't even know if he hit the wall. I think he just got really extremely close to it.
He got pretty dang close, there. Yeah.
But
he just 4-tracked it down the back straightaway, left some tire marks about midway down the back straight.
And you can really see who these guys have a lot of talent being able to save these cars. Very hard thing to do.
The 83 Ryan Samsel really trying to get up on the rear bumper of Elliott Butler. Wow, Butler, excuse me, the 83 is Samsel top to bottom elevator move. He'll take that spot away and continue to work over rear bumper of Butler.
And while we've been watching this, has been an exchange up ahead. The 13 of Hinton has gone around Ronis for second place.
Oh, we got one loose. That's the 17 of Ben Izenga down to the inside. He'll spin it and loop it on the apron. Does he save it? He does. Great job.
Oh,
Gutierrez sliding contact, and Gutierrez slides up the racetrack, and they're all crashing now. And no caution.
Yeah, still no caution. Gutierrez's race pretty much done, and he's starting to smoke with that car.
Yeah, Gutierrez, yeah, that car is totaled, and he was already out of control entering the corner, but everyone else is trying to avoid the carnage there. Reggie Ortega also off track, it looks like. And others involved. Let's go take a look at it, and we'll return to the green flag action here. And this is, I want to watch this from the nose of the 6 here. He was to the inside of Reggie Ortega. That car spins up ahead. He gets on the brakes, gets loose, and then just clips the rear end of the 17 and she gets shot back up the racetrack.
I think that the 6 of Gutierrez probably thought that he was going to come up the track, got on the brakes, aimed a little bit low, and got him loose. And that's involved, let's say, is that the 75?
The 75, the 27, the 2.
Yeah, it's GABA involved.
A lot of cars torn up in that one, but no caution. We're still green here, Finian.
Yeah, still green. Hutton's got a solid lead, 1.6 seconds over Eli Hinton.
Ronis has not dropped too far beyond that, but the battle back here has not really calmed down. The same group of guys, minus a couple that crashed out just a moment ago, they're still battling for this spot.
You see the 71 chase the car into the wall, trying to save it.
A little bit of right side damage there, but no harm, no foul. The 83 still recovering up to 15th now as Samsel.
Yeah, starting to make some progress. So is 36 of Butler. He's moved up to 14th now.
A lot of mobility so far in the race. Looks like passing is actually not too hard to do here this evening. Last week at Chicago on the initial starts, it was very difficult to get a pass done, but here, only a couple laps after a restart, we're seeing passing be very easy to do.
Yeah, and it's not that so much that it's just straight out easy. It's these guys are trying to work with it here. You can't get the pass in one corner. You got to work with it for about a lap or two. Build up the run. There you see the 35 Banks still fighting with Stravato. That's still for 9th place. He's going to roll the top side, get around him on the back straightaway, and he's going to take away 9th place.
Banks is absolutely doing a phenomenal job using that top lane in 1 and 2 and has made up a couple spots up there. So that's pretty cool to see here, lap 31 at Atlanta.
It looks like up ahead, the 07 of Ashland and the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent, they're fighting for position.
Off into turn 1 again, over 185, 190 miles an hour. Oh, we got caution out on the racetrack here again, and it's Justin Egan in the 71. And that car is torn up big time. And we mentioned he just got in the wall a couple laps ago, maybe a cut tire, potentially the cause of that.
Let's see what happened to him.
At turn 4, just gets loose and just oh. And the funny thing is, it wasn't even a correction. He was just had the throttle to the floor and just slowly kind of wonked it over to the right and pounded the wall in turn 4.
Let's take a look on maybe with the roll bar cam. Let's see. Try to get a view of his hands.
You're not going to be able to see it much over there. Look over here, but out of turn 4. Here, the throttle down.
Starts to correct, and yeah, you saw just a slight overcorrection. I mean, you really can't call it much of an overcorrection. It was just trying to save it, but it's so hard. Once you move the steering to center, it instantly gripped up and sent him into the wall.
And it wasn't even so much that he was correcting it. He only barely turned that wheel to the right, but just having the tires, it was almost like the car just kind of naturally drove that direction. It almost drove into the wall straight on. It didn't really slap around like we saw with the, what car was that spun earlier on the front straight? 57, and the 77 is that car. But obviously Justin Egan torn up here in the second caution on the evening.
That's going to grip these guys back up, and pit stops are yet again underway.
So we've lost a couple cars in those incidents here tonight so far, Finian. Lap 33, Eric Hutton comes and leads the whole field down to pit lane. 4 tires and fuel again, the call going to be for everybody here.
Yeah, let's see. We saw a small exchange for position between I believe it was the 13 and the 88? Or no, it was the 31 and the 88.
Yeah, the 88 managed to take the lead on the last pit sequence there. 31 a little cockeyed into the pit stall, and I saw Hinton be very aggressive into the box there, so that might get him a couple tenths of a second on the whole pit sequence, but it's really a matter of who can accelerate out. The tires don't have a lot of grip. Looks like the 88 and the 13 going to beat out the 31 yet again.
Oh, and it looks like 31 of Ronis is kind of slow. Will the 8 beat him?
Oh, he might have gotten him.
Ooh, it's kind of tough to tell. Let's see.
No, looks like the 8 got him.
Yep.
Jeremiah Vincent.
Fantastic job of that 8 car.
Yeah, he's pretty far back actually coming in. He gained a couple spots on pit lane that time through.
So his picker is going to get a raise there.
Got a lot of pit stops left. Let's not give him the money just yet.
potentially going to get a raise. And also notably, Mark Emerson in the 22 just got the free pass.
Yeah, Emerson, again, had a slow start to the race here. Started back in 13th and ended up getting into the wall. Has some damage. You see the cone bouncing on the back straightaway. Hopefully no one got a penalty there, Finian.
Yeah, I was going to say, so that's one thing that I've struggled with trying to...
It's hard here on pit exit.
Yeah. Yeah, you just, again, it's very sensitive, too. If you just slip up just a little bit of your wheel up there, you can get a penalty. So you got to be careful getting out of pit road.
All right, so let's check in with a couple cars that received damage earlier. Evan Black now trying to fix. There's a lot of right side damage to that race car, Finian.
Yeah, you can slowly see it getting buffed out, trying to get it buffed out to about where it was.
Yeah, well, at least the nose is okay. It's just that right side. The problem is these cars require all that side force to get the car to turn. And
I mean, you can imagine, too, just with the aero these things have, how loose they are. You can imagine if you lose that downforce, how much worse it's going to be. So, yeah, they're going to need anything these guys can get, so better get your stuff fixed up as much as possible under these cautions.
And Chris Garrett repairing some crash damage. He's 2 laps down, the first guy and the only guy to be 2 laps down. He's got 2 guys in front of him that he'll have to battle for a free pass eventually. Evan Black and then Casey Lakatos there in the number 50. That car's really torn up, and I'd be surprised if we saw that one come back on the racetrack, but I've seen worse. Last night, the hardline race.
Yeah, that was a lot of banged up cars.
Yeah. I think we had 2 that weren't banged up.
Yep, pretty much so.
Field works their way through turns 3 and 4 now. And Hutton, again, I got to say this is the car to beat. Hinton's been quick, but Hutton just fired out of like a cannon once he got that lead, and he's been fast most of the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to beat that. I think, like we've been talking about, the 88 of Hutton is the car to beat here. I think 13 and the 31 are going to have to really experiment. Try to find where there's extra speed to get around that 88 because he's really dominant.
And Hutton carrying our gyro cam here this week. And see the 92 of Evan Black coming off pit lane, getting that damage fixed. He'll stay only 1 lap down. But you see the banking here at Atlanta, quite a bit of it here. And it is enough to catch the race car, but I think drivers would like more of it because sometimes later in the run it gets real hard to keep the car turned.
Yeah, probably like more banking on a newer surface. Cause
well, some drivers don't want the newer surface. Actually, most drivers don't. But
oh yeah, no. For racing wise, I'm just saying. Well, but when you're actually in the race car and you want to make a pass and just on the verge of grip, you definitely wish it was a little bit more grip in the track to work with. But
some drivers have you shot for saying they want to repave the racetrack.
Yeah.
You know, one guy that doesn't want to repave it, that would be the 35 of Joshua Banks, all the way up to 5th place in that 35 Camaro, and I believe he started back in 19th. So he's gained most of those spots organically and has used that top lane to get there.
And he is starting in the top lane, so we'll see how he's going to be able to roll with that. As the pace car is just about to make its left turn onto pit road, going to get the restart coming to lap 37.
All right, so got a little ways to go here, Finny, in about an hour if it all goes green. We know it's not going to do that. The question is, how many guys can keep it on the racetrack? Green flag back in the air. Hutton leads him down, and
loose on the start.
The 30 car all out of shape back here as well, Finny, and the 30 of Jeremy Miller, 3 wide across the start-finish line down into turn 1. How's this going to play out?
I don't know. Looks like the 83 is going to give a little bit away on the outside, trying to chase the car up the track.
Oh, look at Hinton. Got a great run out of turn 2. Right on the bumper of the 88. To the inside goes Eli Hinton. Down to the inside of Eric Hutton in turn 3. Going to get the nose in there. Hutton's going to drive in real hard. Look at Hinton throttling up mid-corner, side by side, door to door.
Yeah, and we saw that the 88 didn't get as good of a start. Spun his tire just a little bit. Hinton got a fantastic start. He's going to take advantage of that. He knows this is probably one of his only prime opportunities to get around that 88.
He's been really aggressive on the restarts. Up the racetrack he goes. Behind him, Joshua Banks looked for 4th on Jeremiah Vincent. Couldn't get the job done. Eli Hinton lost his momentum. He'll have to try to get it back, but great run for the lead here. And they're side by side behind him. Stravato and George are battling back there for 7th.
There you see Banks too. Now he's moved up from 6th to 5th place on the start, trying to chase down the 8 of Vincent.
Ooh, look at Jim George really loose off turn 4. Here comes Alec Martinez, the number 18 Craftsman Toyota Camry, up to 11th. To the inside now of Bruce Boyer. Both these cars having a pretty good run so far.
Yeah, trying to break inside the top 10, and he is right now by a fender, but the 14 of Banks really doing a great job rolling that top side.
See the 30 Jeremy Miller getting real loose again off the corner. Look at Jim George right up on the door of Stravato on that restart, and down the back straightaway. Almost got into him here, but George very aggressive last week at Chicagoland, and we see him loose off the corner exit again.
He's going to keep it going straight, but Stravato's got the run now, has a head down into turn 1. I think Stravato might have it here.
It's a hard line to hold. He drives in real hard on the outside. Jim George to the bottom, but I think the 33 is going to prevail on corner exit down the whole back straightaway.
Yeah, and there he goes. And how about the 62 of Burrows there with a significant speed
Yeah, he
difference.
backed out early, though. He wanted to get that, turn that car down to the inside lane for turns 3 and 4, and we got 3 wide behind him. Pass for the lead, potentially. Here comes Eli Hinton now to the outside. Where did he come from?
Yeah, he must have gotten a fantastic run in 3 and 4, or off of 4, down the front straightaway, but Hutton's not going to give up just yet. They're going to be side-by-side off 2.
And I think Hinton's going to have this here in a moment, but again, now the preferred line goes to the 88 of Hutton as we drive off into turn 3 and 4. The outside not as effective there on this end of the racetrack.
I think the 13 of Hinton might have it here off the corner they go. He's going to hold the 88 down to the inside.
Side by side for the lead. You see everyone else sorted out behind him.
And they're still side by side.
They continue to race side by side. Now Hinton trying to roll that outside lane. Turns 1 and 2. It's more effective. It gives you this long back straightaway to use that momentum to your advantage. Fighting behind him, George and Stravato continue to battle for 7th spot. Eli Hinton now going to drive up the racetrack. Got to be careful not to get that seam there, Finney, to get you real loose. Off of turn 4, we continue to be side by side for the lead.
I think Hinton might just have it. No, he doesn't. Hutton's able to stick with him on that inside.
Man, and this just shows you how strong Hutton's car is here, Finney. We've seen that bottom lane get destroyed after a couple laps after a restart with the momentum, but now I think Hinton, oh, he slipped on corner exit. They're still going to be even down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and you saw because he slipped, lost all the momentum he would have gotten. There goes the 88 Hutton to the inside.
Yeah, this is going to be a losing battle for Hutton, though. But again, I think it shows how strong he is that he can roll that bottom for so long, but it's going to have to give up eventually.
And there it goes. There's the 13 new leader.
Wow, what a drive that was around the outside. No mistakes from the 13 so far tonight, and he's driven to the lead here, lap number 44. Don't give it to him just yet. Hutton's going to roll back up the high lane. He'll get the momentum down the back straightaway. Maybe he'll take a look off into turn 3.
Well, let's see. Is he going to sit on it? Will he make the move? There he goes. He looks to the inside.
Can't really get the car to stick down there, can he? But he's going to try. Throttles up mid-corner. Can he get the run on corner exit? Hitting loose off the corner. Slides all 4 tires. Leaves a couple tire marks there. Hutton smells the blood in the water. Going to try to get this back.
Yeah, and he was Hinton was trying to get the run off the corner going up there, but lost a little bit of speed by getting a little bit loose. And there you see Hutton now moving up a lane, trying to get a run.
Hinton was slow on corner exit. Hutton drops back to the bottom in the Chick-fil-A Camaro. He'll try this again.
And this is a very long fight for the lead here. Both these guys not giving up an inch.
And if they continue to battle, that might bring Angelo Ronis back in. But last time by, they were both just a hair quicker.
Yeah, they're actually keeping a little bit of pace from Ronis, even though they are battling side by side.
Man, Hutton is very fast here. Hinton got a real good run on him and managed to complete the pass, but I still think Hutton's probably the one to beat in this race, although Hinton is really the only one that's showed that much strength under green flag conditions here. Yeah,
it looks like Hutton's going to back off just for now, though. Maybe cool down his stuff and gonna mount another charge later in the run.
Yeah, potentially a good idea there. I'm on board with that. Save your stuff a little bit. Let's head back in the pack here a little bit. Emerson and Daffin side by side in the 20 and 22.
Yeah, these guys are, and Emerson again got the free pass last caution, so he's making good use of it up to 18th, trying to get 17th from Daffin.
And George and Stravato have just been dueling at it, just like the leaders were. Stravato now up the racetrack, going to try to use that outside lane. Look at Connor Horn down to the bottom. That's an interesting line. I thought that 42 would be up against the high lane, but a little bit of right front damage. Oh, we mentioned that earlier, the damage on the splitter for that 42. So Horn now back to 9th, going the wrong direction here early at Atlanta.
And Butler, too, having a great recovery up into 10th now. We saw him fighting in and around 20th
Interrupt you there, Finney, and side by side again for the lead, and Hutton will have to back out again, but this is not over yet.
Yeah, he keeps trying to mount a charge here. I just don't think he's got it at the moment. I think he might have to let the 13 take the lead, just kind of follow in his shadow, see what he's doing, and maybe adapt to that strategy.
Oh, you see Hinton real loose there. He's struggling just a little bit. He's driving really hard to stay out in front of Hutton.
Yeah, I've noticed that he's a little bit, a lot looser on exit. He gets a good run into the corner compared to Hutton, but just not able to really nail and plant the exit like the 88.
And Hutton's really rolling that bottom line well through 3 and 4. Off the corner, you see hitting really loose again. He's done that a couple times, and every time you do that, heats up your tires a little bit more.
Yeah, that's just him trying to jump back up to the top side to maximize his run off the corner again, still getting it loose because it's a very hard thing to do. It really upsets the car doing that, and it's hard to keep it going straight.
Caution out again here, Finian, and it's Levi Poland to the number 91 spinning on the front straightaway. Heavy damage.
And who's that
30
involved?
of Jeremy Miller involved as well. Let's go back, take a look. Oh, this started with a 30 of Miller, I believe, here, Finian. Just find out what happened. There's a 30.
Yeah, he looks fine.
Oh,
Gets loose through the grass.
Bounces through the grass and just steers it back into traffic, and oh man! And again, there's nothing the 91 could do to miss that.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating because it looks like they have all the time in the world, but there's just nothing they can do.
Yeah, he could have tried to turn hard left, but that would have gotten him loose towards the grass, and he I think slowed down, just slammed on the brakes, and that sent him straight in.
Well, and as of now, he thinks his car's got it collected. Sees the car spin, and nope, too late.
Slams the brakes, just couldn't go anything but straight. Tried to do everything he could, and that's unfortunate too because he had a decent car running.
Yeah, one car that narrowly missed this was Alec Daffin in the number 20. Let's ride on board with him. The car slip up here and just gets around the outside, misses it by an inch.
Wow, he was very lucky.
And a bad crash behind him, 2 more cars taken out. Oh, interesting, Finny. We got Alec Daffin around on the caution laps here.
Yeah, that's interesting, Golden. Let's see if we can catch what happened to him.
Oh, he actually crashed here. Let's see what occurred.
Did the 57 hit him?
He just gassed it up, and that just shows you how on it. He was going 60 miles an hour. And
yeah, he's going highway speed.
Yeah, and he crashed. I mean, there's some damage to that race car.
Yeah, a little bit to the nose, doesn't.
That's a lot of damage. I mean, he hit it pretty good. The whole nose is torn up pretty good there, Finian.
Yeah, we'll see how long he's going to sit down on pit road as he's trying to get into his stall. But meanwhile, race off pit road, looks like the 13 is going to get out by a pretty solid margin over the 88.
That's
important. And actually, new third-place driver, Joshua Banks.
Wow.
Great pit stop from him.
This guy is the underdog.
Yeah, I was just about to say that he is the underdog. He's been quietly sitting in and around the top 5, started in 19th.
I mean, he's been driving. He's been going nowhere but forward so far, has Banks. So let's go. Actually, let's get have a conversation with Eric Hutton in that number 88 and see what he thinks about the 13's progress so far. Hey, Eric Hutton, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, so far looked like you had the dominant race car, but Eli Hinton drove up there and passed you for the lead, and looked like you might have had something to get back by him, but the caution came out, and you'll have to restart behind that number 13 for the restart. How you liking your chances to get back around Eli?
Yeah, I think all I just really needs a long run. That one short run we had, I was battling real hard with them. The only one long run we had, I pulled out in front of them, so I just gotta save it. Just enough to get past them, and then just try not to push it too hard. I think restart's going to be a big key.
All right, we've seen the line in 1 and 2 migrate up the racetrack. What are your options in turns 3 and 4? Can you use the same outside line, or are you more migrated down to the bottom there?
Yeah, you can really run whatever line you want. I think entering high and kind of turning it low is what I've been doing, and I think a lot of guys around me have been doing that. But really, I mean, it's fun because you can race side by side real easily, and nobody really has an advantage. It doesn't.
All right, Eric. Well, thanks for talking to us. We wish you luck on the restart. Keep that thing pointed in the right direction and go get yourself a victory.
Yeah, I'll try it. Thanks, guys.
No problem. All right, so Eric Hutton again will be restarting on the outside lane if Hinton chooses the inside. So we'll see how that goes. A couple cars ready to take a wave around. Cody Eldred in number 27, going to be one of them, was caught up in that turn 3 incident with Chris Gutierrez. Casey Lacatos also torn up as well. He'll get a wave around. And a lot of cars taken out early in the running here, Finney. And Levi Poland, Evan Black, Steve Turner, Chris Gutierrez, Robert Gaba, Reggie Ortega, all wrecked by lap 50.
And some pretty big names, too, with Gaba and Ortega. Those are both pretty notable names in this series, so unfortunate ends to their days early on in this race. Actually, speaking of this race, yeah, we're almost halfway through this race, so the lap's kind of ticking by, actually. Yeah, it felt kind of fast.
Well, we have had some pretty decent green flag runs here. That last one was quite long, and I think I'm still watching this 35 car, Finney, and I think if one of these
Oh,
two doesn't win it, that's the car to beat. He's been moving forward. He's been rock solid up high. He's not made a single mistake that I've seen, and that 35 car looking good. Now, the only problem is he's restarting on the bottom here, and I don't think that's where he wants to be.
Well, let's see, because it's kind of the restarts in any series really. It's kind of tricky because everyone's still getting up to speed by turns 1 and 2, so he might have a good chance on the bottom side. Again, it depends on how well of a start Hinton gets in the 13 and how poor of a start the 88 gets. And that would be his prime scenario for him, so he can jump to the outside. But we'll keep track of this. And really, if anyone else spins their tires, it could be disastrous. So that's another thing we've been seeing people struggle with.
Yeah, don't let anyone spin the tires in front of you, and don't be the one that spins the tires. You'll get run over from behind. You got a lot of race cars behind you that inside lane up in third. So pace car pulls off, and Eli Hinton now will control the field as we come back to green lap number 55. And whoa, the 12 car bounces hard into the wall, and caution's going to fly right back out. And just like that, Jim George torn up, and Alec Daffin also spinning as well. And he's got some heavy rear end damage and some more nose damage to speak of as well.
Yeah, I think that was just from him trying to avoid what happened there. And we were talking about making sure that you don't spin your tires, and I think the 12 is going to retire, and yes, he does.
Yeah, this is just so hard to do here, Finney, and then we'll keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screen behind the purple 62 car. 12 just straight into the fence, and ooh, the 83 got a piece of that as well. And you see the 57 jamming on the brakes. That's where the 20 car got wrecked. And actually, let's ride on board with Daffin to see if there was anything he could have done to miss this. See everyone all lined up here. He's on the gas early. He got a pretty good jump, and then rear ends the 57. Yeah. 57 jams on the brakes, and then he gets run over from behind again. So did not go well for Daffin there. This last couple laps has been kind of a disaster. But Jim George completely torn up, and that car will be done.
Yeah, and again, so we talk about it, how you have to be really careful getting back from the throttle. I don't think we're going to see anyone come down pit road.
Yeah, no, probably not. And, well, we just under yellow just a moment ago, so we're going to go to break real quick. We'll be right back with the restart here in just a few moments. Stay with us. Welcome back here to Sim TV. Still under caution here for, I believe, the third time tonight? Fourth time tonight. And Eli Hinton out in front of Eric Hutton. Again, the reason for the yellow is the 12 of Jim George spinning the tires on the restart, packing it into the fence. And we've seen a lot of cars almost do that, but George just was able to complete the deal here.
Yeah, I was telling you a story while we were under a break there. I was leading a league race. I was leader, 20 laps to go. Thought nothing could go wrong, but it did. And I spun the tires on the restart, took out nearly half the field.
And it's a helpless feeling when you feel the tires break traction. There's not a whole lot you can do to get it back.
No, yeah. And you're just scrambling for grip, trying to get anything back. But yeah, most of the times it's kind of a losing effort. And from there on, I made sure to almost never spin the tires again. But yeah, it's a tough thing to do, especially here. I would say this is probably one of the tracks that has it the worst as far as spinning your tires, maybe Homestead.
And the other thing that's weird about Atlanta here, Finney, and this is something I've noticed, maybe the only other track I can think of that does this is Texas, where there's actually the outside lane at Atlanta on the quad oval is actually slightly banked, and the inside lane is not. And the problem is when you're in that outside lane where Jim George was, this is some physics stuff here, so bear with me. There's less of a component going down into the racetrack, right? Because the normal it's physics.
Yeah. No, so, I'm taking physics.
I know you're taking physics. I'm trying to explain to people at home that don't give a crap about physics. But yeah, so the problem is there's less of a downward component. There's some of that force being wasted,
right?
On a sideways component of the car at that banked angle. So the problem is that the cars in the inside lane get a much better grip up on the restarts and leaves Jim George spinning his tires into the fence.
Physics, yeah.
No, that's important. It's only a couple degrees, but these cars weigh 3,400 pounds, and you need every single pound going down.
Every little bit counts, especially at a track like this. So you pretty much saw physics at work right there. So hopefully everyone's going to be able to get the power down this time around.
Yeah, all right, we'll be restarting lap number 60. You mentioned it, Finian, getting close to halfway. That'll be lap 71. Green flag back in the air. Eli Hinton takes him down. Joshua Banks slipping the tires there as well, but everyone, it looks like they'll get away that time. All right.
And Hinton got a fantastic start.
Look at Burrows to the inside. 3 wide off into turn 1. The 35 of Joshua Banks split in the middle, and Ronis goes backwards.
Yeah, looks like he gave up on that. He's going to try to fall in behind Banks, get the run on the outside of Burrows. He's going to race him for 4th place. Looks like they're going to be side by side entering 3.
Connor Horn trying to get around the inside of Jeremiah Vincent off into turn 3, hooking the white line. Again, we saw him working the outside early, but since then he's dropped to the bottom and making time down there. Out of turn 4. Looks like we have a breakaway. Our front 2, Eli Hinton, Eric Hutton. And then it's Banks, Burrows, Ronis. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And there goes the 42 back up to the outside where I expected him to be.
Yeah, there he goes. He's going to arc that back down just a little bit, trying to maximize the run. He's going to try to get a run on the 8. There he goes, looks to the inside.
Wow, what a power move to the inside of Jeremiah Vincent. Goes Connor Horn. Going to get down to that white line and try to get the run on the exit with the fresh tires. You might be able to do it, but Vincent gets a fantastic run out of the corner and might be able to clear the 42 on the straightaway.
Let's see, he might just be able to, and there he goes. I think he's clear, and there goes 42 behind him.
Oh, 42 right up against the fence once again. Jordan Ashland in there as well, the 07.
And actually, I was just looking at the corner the last time. It looks like the marbles have kind of gone away, as a lot of people are electing to run that top side.
I think you can thank Joshua Banks. I think he's got them all on his tires now. He was the one that really paved the way up there earlier.
So it's a lot more viable this time around to run that line. There you see the 42 now on the inside of the 8. And he's actually going to stay there as they head into 1 and 2.
So Horn's been trying all sorts of different lines to find grip around here, and I think he's faster than his running position would suggest. The 8 car pinching him down kind of a lot there on corner exit, but up goes the 36 of Butler right in front of Jordan Ashland on corner exit there.
And Ashland's going to look to the inside there, trying to take away 8th. Sorry, that is 9th place. And they're going to be side by side coming out of 4.
Oh,
Butler with a big run.
8 to 42 still door to door out of turn 4 once again. 8 laps to halfway here. 7 laps to halfway, excuse me. Pass for 3rd going on. Burrows to the inside of Banks, but Banks is going to have that phenomenal run off the corner. But Burrows, again, very quick last week at Chicago. Haven't seen a ton of pace out of him yet here this week, but I think he's slowly figuring it out and moving his way forward.
Yeah, he's been slowly coming into his own in that beautiful purple Twitch paint scheme.
It's very awesome. Vibrant colors on that 62.
A lot of different shades there on that hood, but he's going to make it work. He's going to take away that position. Here comes Ronis now on the inside of 35.
Yeah, it really stalled out Banks when the 62 took that inside lane, and Ronis will drive right around him. So Banks struggling a little bit after the restart here.
He's got to worry, too, that 8 of Vincent has got a pretty good charge mounting.
We're all pretty much singled out now. Everyone kind of plotting out their chess match. I think Joshua Banks isn't satisfied. He wants that spot back from Ronis.
And again, solid job by that 35. Slipped 2 spots on that restart, but still maintaining some good position overall. Trying to get it back around the 31. He's going to go back up to the high side here.
Look at the field behind him. We got 2 by 2. That's the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent, 42 of Connor Horn. There's Travato right behind, as well as Elliott Butler. They were door-to-door in the corner just a moment ago.
And the 8 of Vincent is right on the back bumper of Banks now. So let's see where he decides to go.
Looks like he'll look to the inside in that Wrangler Camaro. And can he take it away from Joshua Banks off into turn 1? Drops all the way to the white line. And that seems like that's the line that's working right now. But I think as the run goes on, you've seen Banks be very committed to that outside lane. And as we get into the run, wow, look at the 42 crossover down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that was almost, you would argue, late, but there goes 42, almost clearing him on exit, and he does clear him on exit.
And off into the entrance of turn 3. He'll take that spot away. Power move by the 42 of Connor.
And here comes Travato behind the 8 as well. Let's see if he maybe tries to mount a run. So you just saw by the 8 of Vincent just trying to make that move to the inside of Banks, how much speed he lost on the back straightaway, and that allowed the 42 of Horn to get around. Oh, notably up front, our leaders are getting closer together.
Indeed they are. Eric Hutton beginning to track down Eli Hinton. Again, Eli drove up there and just took it away from Eric, but we talked to Eric under the last yellow, and he told us he was confident that he could run him down into the long green flag run, and if we straighten everybody out and keep him going green, I think that 88's still going to be the car to beat.
I still find it interesting, too, how the 13 of Hinton's kind of committed to that middle to outside line, and the 88's glued to the bottom.
Glued to the bottom in 3 and 4 maybe, but in 1 and 2 he's following Hinton's tire tracks. And look at Hinton now dropping to the inside on turn 2 and looking a little bit loose on corner exit now. So interesting strategies being played here. Again, you can use that outside to inside by pulling it down. It wastes a little bit of tire, but you can get the advantage of that outside lane and also take the short way around as well. So there's kind of a win-win there.
And notably, too, the 13 ran the bottom that time by trying to close off the 88, but that's allowed Hutton to get back up, and he's right on his back bumper now.
Right on the bumper, indeed. Here comes Hutton to the outside. He'll have to back out, maybe try that one more time. Onto the back straightaway. Who's going to have the run? We're on board with Hinton. Does the 88 look to the inside?
I imagine he definitely is, and there he goes. He got a quarter panel on it.
It's a hard line to hold down there, but he's going to throttle up. You see, look how much sooner the 88 of Hutton gets on the throttle than Hinton. It looks like Hinton's having to wait. Doesn't have the confidence in his race car to get back to the throttle in time. And that's what's reeling in the 88.
And again, these two guys are in a league of their own right now. They're 1.4 seconds clear of Anthony Burrows in 3rd. So they're kind of in their own world, just kind of fighting this out.
See everyone behind him. Connor Horn has gotten around Joshua Banks for 5th. Everyone else kind of holding serve for now. Halfway through here at Atlanta. It's been a great race so far here, Finian, but with the green flag runs shaping up, it's really just a battle between the 13 and the 88. And I thought the 35 would have more to say about it, but I think he needs a real long run before that outside lane becomes absolutely dominant and he can get back around the cars that got him on the restart.
Yeah, I definitely think that restart did not help him at all. He lost a lot of time, and by the time he's going to get around potentially back into 3rd place, he's going to lose a lot of time to these front 2 drivers. So I think he really needs some decent track position and a good restart in hand to really work his way to the front of the field.
Anthony Burrows trying to reel in this group as they fight for the lead, but hasn't been able to eat much out of it. Still 1.3 behind Eli Hinton. And again, Hutton has been working over this 13, and it's got to be mentally tiring for Hinton to constantly be mirror driving here, because let's face it, he's looking in the mirror. He can't just completely ignore the 88, because if you ignore him, he might get turned. He's looking inside, he's looking outside, he's all over the place. So a lot of thinking going on inside the helmet of that 13 driver, and it's certainly got to be tiring.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably would honestly rather just have the 88. At times, he probably was thinking he'd rather just have him in front of him so he can focus on driving. Because that's another thing, too, you have to also focus on your line and where you're driving as well in relation, because if you mess it up, it can be disastrous in its results.
Riding on the gyro cam again with Eric Hutton, our in-race reporter here tonight in the Chick-fil-A Camaro, and following in the tire tracks, and you see the 13. You can see all the little subtle movements there. A little bit loose on exit for the 13, but the 88 had to catch it up the racetrack just a little bit as well. And listen to how smooth he is on the throttle here. Gets back just a little bit sooner than the 13. Right there. Gets back on the throttle just a tad sooner and is able to carry that speed in a way that the 13 just can't.
he's so close to getting the lead. You can see it right there in front of him, but there's not entirely much you can do with it at the moment with Hinton.
Now I want to ask you, Finney, because you have a lot of IndyCar experience, and the 1.5 mile racetracks in IndyCar are kind of like what these guys are dealing with here right now. What about the aero shadow coming off the 13, the aero push, rather? It's a bigger factor in IndyCar, but these cars punch a big hole in the air.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely gonna, especially when you have such little downforce to work with, losing any bit more is really gonna make it a lot harder to work around. So you can see at times the 88 running a little bit lower, a little bit higher than the 13, not directly in the shadow, just trying to get a little bit of air to the wing to work to the spoiler on the back and the spoiler on the front to plant that car to the ground.
Look who's starting to creep into the shot here, Finian. Anthony Burrows, remember, finished second last week. Very close to the 13 of Eli Hinton.
Yeah, he's tracking about a tenth, a little bit more so at times than our 2 leaders, so he might start entering this picture here.
Wow, looked like Hinton got loose off turn 4. That brought Hutton right back to the rear bumper again. But let's talk about Burrows a little bit. Started back in 8th place, and it's taken him longer to get up to speed here. Was fast out of the gate at Chicago, got himself back a little bit on strategy. But here this week, been a little bit calmer in the race car, and looked like he's...
Whoa,
wow,
hit Hutton loose. Wow.
Sideways there, but yeah, the 62 looks like he's taking this a little bit slower this week. He's got himself more focused, and it's proving to be a little bit smoother of an experience for the 62 this week.
Yeah, he's again making some impressive. Like, you can see him entering the picture a lot sooner, a little bit loose off the corner.
Yeah, he's driving the wheels off, and I think he sees the 88 pressuring the 13 and knows that if he can get up there when the 88 passes the 13, he might have a shot to pass both of them.
And notably, too, the 62, the 31, and the 42 were all faster that last time by than our leaders, so they're all starting to catch up. You can see them there. They're all starting to catch our leaders.
I think what's happening now is the 13 is holding up the 88 just a little bit, but Hinton's driving very defensively, and it's keeping both these cars a little bit slower than from their full potential. So that means that Burrows and Ronis are going to continue to reel them in. You see Hinton chasing the car up the racetrack again on corner exit.
So we might have potentially a 5-car battle for the lead here shaping up, and there goes Hutton to the inside.
All the way to the bottom. We haven't seen him run this line in a couple laps. All the way to the inside. You're going to get alongside him, and this is another thing you can do, Finney, and just get in his spotter's ear. Make his spotter talk to him. Get him distracted. Take away a line that he can run, and that's a great way to distract somebody and maybe get a spot away.
I wasn't able to do that time, but I had to settle in to get behind the 13. I don't think he'll do this corner either. But he's going to keep being persistent at it, but he's, again, got to worry about that 62 starting to close up.
And that time through, again, both the leaders were a little bit slower than the guys behind him. So they're continuing to fight, and it's bringing in the battle from 3rd and 4th. And I think Hutton's going to see that. He's going to get a little bit less patient as this run goes on here. He's going to start throwing it in a little bit deeper.
I think this is honestly probably why we just saw him start making some moves. He was riding in kind of just behind the 13 for a little bit. Now, seeing that 62 and now others approaching, he's going to start getting a little bit more desperate trying to get around the 13 because he knows he's faster, but he just doesn't have enough speed to get around Hinton.
And why does he want to hang on to second? Well, because when you're second, you're closer to first than everybody else, and that means when you come down to pit lane later under caution, you're going to have a better chance of coming out as the leader, have a better chance of controlling the restart. So you don't want to give up any spots here. You don't want to give away. I know you can line
Whoa!
Whoa!
Wow, Horn was extremely loose. He was dead sideways off of the corner, saved it.
But as I was saying, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, when you're in second place, yeah, you're alongside the leader, and you have a little bit of a disadvantage on the restarts, but you're just that much closer to being able to snag it away. If you're third, you're behind the leader, but you can't get the spot on pit road. So I think Hutton really wants to protect this spot for now as we roll through turns 1 and 2. He's going to try harder and harder, and I think, honestly, Connor Horn is trying the hardest of them all. You saw him out of turn 2 last time through. Look at the 31 sliding on exit.
Yeah, everyone's kind of spread out now, except a few places back and around 9th or 10th place. There's a big pack of cars here.
Yeah, let's jump here briefly. We don't want to pull away from the lead battle for too long, but that's Elliott Butler in front of Jordan Ashland, AJ Stravato, Jeremiah Vincent.
And these guys have been like this pretty much since the restart, so they've all been kind of fighting with each other ever since then for position.
I think Hutton is begging and pleading with these guys not to cause a yellow because he'll have a shot to get around the 13, but now look at Burrows. He's even closer now, less than a half a second behind the leaders.
Yeah, again, took out a huge chunk last time by, still making inroads.
Out of turn 4 now. Again, I want to ride on board and listen to his throttle inputs here, see what lines he's running to gain time.
Yeah, notably he's been running the really high to the outside. And pretty much every time through, the leaders have been kind of experimenting with it. And actually, now Burrows is cutting down low.
Yeah, he's kind of following exactly in their tire tracks. Look at Hutton a little bit sideways off the corner. A little smoke cloud there in turn 3. Didn't see where that was from. Cody Eldred in the number 27. Just, I don't know if he just pulled off the racetrack, but potentially where that came from. Very smooth is the 62.
Yeah, again,
no bobbles.
Yeah, and again, that's really key here. You don't want to start heating up your tires unnecessarily. That can really affect the grip level in them. So if you want to keep the car going as straight as possible, keep it as smooth as possible, and I'll pretty much give you the fastest run.
So far, it's been a great race here at Atlanta. Working lap 85 now. We have a long way to go still, and looks like Hinton and Hutton still the quickest cars on the racetrack through the majority of the race, but Burrows is beginning to close in and trying to put a fight to him. His progress has slowed now just a little bit. They stopped fighting quite as much, but now the 13 bobbles on corner exit. Here comes Hutton to the inside with a great run.
Hey, he's going to try to plant it on the inside here, get as much as he can on Hinton.
Oh, he might actually clear him, but the 13's going to throttle up in mid-corner here, Finney, to get the run down the back straightaway.
And they're going to be side by side here, slowing each other down.
And this is where Burrows has to pounce behind him. He'd actually lost a little bit of time through 1 and 2. Can he get it back in 3 and 4 and mount a challenge? Out of turn 4, side by side. This is as close as Hutton's been to the lead. Does he chuck it down into turn 1, just trying to clear him with a slide job?
And Hutton was the leader last time through. Not entirely clear of that 13, though, but he might have it here in 1 and 2.
Oh, he drove in deep, Finian, but he's going to slide up. He might have the 13 cleared, but Hinton's going to try to drive on exit. Throttles up, gets that run off the corner. Look to the inside, maybe.
Let's see. He's got the momentum. Nowhere to really put it, though, as the 88's defending.
Oh, down to the apron. He got really distracted there on corner entry. Tried to go to the bottom, but the 88 blocked, and there's a pass for the lead. Hutton takes it back on lap 87.
Oh, and Hinton was loose coming out of 4. Still a little bit loose. You can see him shaking the wheel. He's finally got it under control, but it's lost a little bit of time to the 88, and now starting to maybe fall into the clutches of that 62 of Burrows.
Yeah, now I'm just curious to see how he handles this from here on out, Finney. He had the lead for about 40, 50 laps, and after you get the lead taken back, it's a little bit, it shakes you a little bit. You just led the race for that long, and you just got driven away from. So he's going to have to maybe put some fresh tires on it here in a couple laps and get himself all sorted back out and take another run at it. But for now, Hutton takes the lead away, and now up to a 0.3 of a second lead.
Yeah, this is something we've got to watch now. Just kind of watch the lap times for a few laps. See now if Hinton is a little, will he be able to be a little bit faster than Hutton, trying to chase him down? But here comes Burrows. And Burrows completely changes into line in 1 and 2. They're all the way on the bottom, right by the white line.
Connor Horan in the number 42. He's managed to keep himself out of the wall after a couple scary slides, but now behind Angelo Ronis. And again, this is the guy that won the pole here tonight, that 31 car, but has not shown much speed after that. And I'm not really sure what's up inside that race car, but he had the single lap speed, but the long runs have not been kind to that peak Camaro team here so far tonight.
Yeah, looked like he was at least going to be in the top 3, but the 62 Burrows kind of just came out of nowhere. Didn't really think he would be too much of a factor tonight, but has proved us wrong. And so 31 of Ronis trying to fight off Connor Horn at the moment.
Alec Daffin recovering after a couple incidents tonight, still running 14th. Eddie Trejo behind him. But coming out of turn 4, Eric Hutton's going to take 50 laps to go here at Atlanta. It's starting to get down to business here. Going to have to pit at least one more time, and that's going to be up to these guys to decide when they want to do it here. Already 39 laps on the tires. So soon is the answer to that question.
Yeah, and really you want to get it. You would definitely want to get some fresher tires. These guys are tracking a little bit over 2 seconds slower than their fastest lap times. So and tires huge here, of course, but of course we knew that pretty much coming in.
Well, here comes Alec Daffin down to pit road right now. He'll come in for a stop. But out on the racetrack still. Now this is where you have to start thinking, if you're Eli Hinton here, you're going to be looking at your fuel window and figure out exactly when that is. Because right now, if you come down 1 lap sooner than that 88 car, you're going to have the lead easily. And that 1 lap tire won't make a ton of difference late in the race. So if you're Eli Hinton, you want to beat that number 88.
Whoa! Wow, the 42 with a drift.
That was spectacular. Let's go get a replay of that real quick. Wow, look at him hanging it all out. We got to get an onboard as well. That was absolutely phenomenal driving. Watch his hands here. In the throttle as well, cranking it back and forth. Connor Horn hangs onto it. What phenomenal driving skill that 42 would just put on there.
Yeah, I don't think he probably thought that was too phenomenal. I think he was about to have a heart attack.
I'm sure he wasn't having fun in the car, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and he's actually still making some progress in on that 31 of Ronis. Ronis actually looking a little bit slow now. I wonder, actually, is Ronis maybe coming down to pit road?
I'm sure this is probably what he's thinking about here, Finian. Yes, he's coming down to pit road. 31, Angelo Ronis, coming down to pit road right now, trying to leapfrog some guys. And you probably, I'm assuming he can make it to the end here if they're coming now. Barely makes it inside the cone, down to pit road speed.
And it'll be a little bit close. He might actually potentially have the lead here with these fresher tires on, depending if he's able to match his best lap. So let's see, does anyone here in the top 5 or even the top 10 decide to respond to that?
I think we're going to see a couple more. AJ Stravato on pit road as well. So we've seen a couple guys come down. Looks like
Jeremiah Vincent's also not only made a previous trip down pit road. We're going to keep watching here who's actually going to also come down. It looks like Bruce Boyer in the 14 is going to make a trip down pit road.
Yep, he's all the way down to the apron early in turns 3 and 4, trying to make sure he gets there and slows down in time. This is a tricky pit entrance. Not a whole lot of grip in turns 3 and 4, so you got to be careful. All right, well, if you're Eli Hinton, you've been losing time into this 88 here, Finian, but you don't want to pit too early because you won't have enough tire left at the end of the race to defend, so this is a delicate battle. I would want to beat the 88, though, because I don't know about Hinton's pace late in the run. I think you got to beat him down.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to have to beat him down by maybe a lap or 2, potentially. Really, he does only need a lap to get down there, and I think defending-wise, I think he should be able to fairly easily defend. The 88 of Hutton did a pretty good job earlier in the run, and we are approaching about halfway through this stint since we took the green flag back.
It's halfway now, actually.
So we're going to see a lot of people coming down now.
Well, Hinton held off Hutton for 40 laps, and we're closing in on 40 to go now, so if he comes down and gets a little bit of a lead, he can defend. He can do it. You just got to come and you got to beat that 88. If you wait too long, you pit with him, you're going to have to go run him down the old-fashioned way. I don't know if Hinton's got the pace for that.
Well, let's see here.
Elliott Butler coming down. And also Ivan Jones in the 53. Whoa, we got a crash on the back straightaway. Someone's smoking. And is it Casey Lakatos in the 50?
Oh, that is a tough one.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah, and that would have really changed the face of everything.
Yeah, look, we got a pass for second, potentially shaping up here. Anthony Burrows in the 62, trying to get around Eli Hinton. Again, if you're Eli Hinton, that lead is slowly slipping away. I'd want to get a ride, go to pit road. As soon as the 62 gets by him, I'd go straight to pit road.
Unless these guys are probably opting to try to do the I guess we're going to continue calling the Joe
JGR
Gibbs
strategy.
Yeah.
It was like 3 years ago now, but when Joe Gibbs Racing at Darlington employed the strategy where basically you stay out super long, and then your tires are really good at the end of the race compared to everyone else's, but you lose a lot of time on the beginning of that, and if caution comes out, you're screwed.
Yeah, basically an overcut, but we like to call it.
Yeah, that's the actual name for it.
So you see the 62 Burrows
whoa!
Trying to get on it. And Hinton really struggling now on the tires, and that's affected Burrows now. And I gotta imagine that one of these two guys is gonna at least want to come down to pit road, get out of the traffic, get some fresher tires down, especially Burrows in the 62.
Butler on the apron in turns 1 and 2 coming out of pit road now. Did he have to come back? He might have gotten a speeding penalty there.
I honestly, when he came down, it looked like he might have come in a little bit fast.
Yeah, I think
that's really going to cost him.
I'm sure that's got to be a speeding penalty. 2 laps down is the 36 of Elliott Butler. Oh, here comes the leader, Eric Hutton. And the 13 follows him down. The 62 gets snookered. And here comes the leaders. And look at him closing in.
Oh, that is...
Oh, man. If he got it down to pit road speed, that was phenomenal entry. That was exactly what he needed to do.
I kind of want to take a replay just to see.
We should. Let's go take a look right now.
See how scrolly that is.
And let's ride on board the roll bar cam here. He sees the 88 coming, gasses it up onto the entry, and...
Wow.
He might have been able to slow it down there if it was awful close, though.
We'll have to keep it on here and see if he's got a penalty.
That would be huge if he didn't, Finian, because that was a phenomenal entry, and he's going to come out right with the 88. This is your battle for the eventual race lead, Hinton, and look at that, out of pit lane, side by side.
Talk about a race off of pit road. There it is.
Phenomenal stuff here at Atlanta. No, don't get a penalty on the white line here. These guys are racing, but you got to stay below that white line until the exit of turn 2.
Let's see. They're really close to it. Looks like they should be good now.
Good. Up back onto the racetrack. Anthony Burrows still leads. Jordan Ashland now coming to pit road. Mark Emerson, Joshua Banks, Alec Martinez, and others on pit lane now. Battle for the lead, eventual lead here. Hutton and Hinton. And we've seen Hinton be quicker on the initial outgoing of the run, but they got to make up this time quick here, Finian.
Yeah, notably on this entire pit stop sequence, it looks like it's going to cycle out to Angelo Coronas, who's going to be the leader here. And that's because remember, he was one of the first guys on this entire cycle to come down pit road.
And it's not by an insignificant amount.
No,
it's a straightaway.
Yeah. But again, these
40
guys
laps to go.
These guys behind, everyone behind him has got fresher tires, so they're all going to kind of collect together towards the end of this race. So it's really going to start shaping up here.
No penalty for the 13 of Eli Hinton. Huge move. That is, if he wins this race, got to attribute it to that move right there.
That is a move of the race here if we were to actually award that. But in any case, here comes a 13 to the inside of the 88.
This is phenomenal stuff. Eli Hinton down to the inside, battling for the lead with. And this is great stuff. Eric Hutton can't quite get it done on the back straightaway.
And these guys effectively now are cycled into 3rd and 4th. They still got Jeremiah Vincent in the 8 ahead of them, and then the 31 of Ronas ahead.
Yeah, I think if Hinton had beat Hutton by 1 lap, he would be in front of him. So he didn't quite play it as well as he could have, but he's right there, and he's going to be able to keep the race in his own hands as he tries to chase down Hutton now. And they're about 5 seconds back from Ronas, but they're running 7/10 of a second quicker, Finian. This is only a matter of time.
Yeah, there goes the 8 of Vincent. I think, honestly, the perfect scenario for the 31 at this point in time would be if these two guys were to start fighting with each other. That could potentially help them out here, but currently they are single file.
Update on Elliott Butler back on the lead lap now, 16th place in that 36 car.
Yeah, might have. I think he probably had the stop and hold potentially or something of that sorts. So it's going to really put him out of the running now.
And Hinton didn't quite have the pace of Hutton the last couple laps here, lost a little bit of ground, and if Hutton gets away too far, he's not going to have time to run him back down. So looks like Hinton's going to have to get on the go pedal in time, and we have a battle behind him. Look at Connor Horn, top to bottom elevator, and he's going to take that spot away easily from Jeremiah Vincent.
Took 2 spots pretty much down the straightaway. That's Stravato, getting around Stravato and the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent. So fantastic move from the 42. It's going to move him back up into 4th place.
And Stravato takes away 5th. Let's head back up. Look at this, Finian, lap car in the way. Drop to the inside goes Hinton and Hutton. And now they're only 3 seconds back from the leader. This is closing in quick. 35 to go when we get back to the line.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the 13 hasn't really tried to do anything. And I kind of wonder now, is he going to probably potentially wait on this run? Let the kind of follow the 88 shadow just right behind him. And then potentially pass him. Maybe use a 31 as a pick.
Whoa, 13's loose off the corner. Let's take a quick update here where the Toyotas are. Alec Martinez in 10th, that number 18 car. And you're going to have to look back and find Ben Izenga in that number 17. He's running in P15 right now. And John Rod in the number 96 running 18th in that Interstate Batteries car. And right in front of him, that battle for second. It's intense. This will be the battle for the lead eventually here, Finian. And behind these guys as well, a battle for 5th spot. Anthony Burrows takes away from AJ Stravato easily.
You know, Burrows going to set his sights to Connor Horn. And really, I think, honestly, Burrows would have probably benefited the most if he came out a lap or 2 earlier. Again, hindsight is 2020. But I think that pit stop, just especially pitting 1 lap after the leader, I think that's really hurting him now.
Yeah, and Hinton maybe potentially dealing with the same issue. If he had pitted 1 lap earlier, he might be in front of the 88 defending and in the 88's position. But this is the card he was dealt. He did a fantastic job. I can't say that enough, how incredible that pit entrance was. To the very edge, to the very limit, and got it down under pit road speed and did not speed on pit lane.
Well, you just saw a little bit in that last camera shot, and there you see the 31 of Ronas ahead of these guys, and they're catching very fast. They're now pretty much within a second of that lead.
Right there, they're closing extremely fast, Finian. Last time by 0.8 of a second quicker. This is going to be in the next couple laps. This might play out well for the 31. He might actually improve his overall running position if he continues to hang on to this pace.
Let's see. I kind of wonder if he's going to... I don't think he would be able to do too much defending, but let's see what he'll actually try to do.
Well, and will he interfere with the battle between Hutton and Hinton? Because this is where Eli could get an advantage on Hutton if the 31 is running that outside lane and Hutton gets stuck behind him.
So here comes the 88. He's going to... Does 31 go defensive?
Not even going to be a battle here. The 88 is going to drive right by on the inside. And how quickly can Hinton get there as well? He'll drop to the inside to get by the 31 too. Oh, Hinton drove in hard though. Close in a little bit.
Close in a little bit indeed. He's going to have to let off just a little bit. No, he's actually going to pretty much just slide up ahead of the 31. He's going to secure second place.
An important pass for Eli Hinton to keep in touch with Hutton. These two have just been matching each other's paces all night. I think got to give the advantage slightly to Hutton, but Hinton led most of the middle portion of the race, and now coming to 30 to go at the line. 0.2 of a second separate the leaders.
Yeah, it's pretty much all down to the drivers now, unless the caution were to come out. At this point in time, it's really who's the faster of these two.
And I think the faster of the two is the 88, but It's not by a whole lot, and this could change very easily. Last time through was just 500ths of a second between the top two. Give the advantage to the 88. Yeah, this has been an incredible race so far. It all comes down. Look at Hinton really loose off turn 2. He's driving hard here, Finian, but when you're in this position, it's hard to save your stuff, but maybe is that a strategy he could employ?
That is a kind of strategy he can employ, but I think Hutton's just so good at defending on the long run. Just his stuff in general. I think Hinton's using up more, but Hutton's just so clean with his line that his tires are not wearing out as fast as that 13.
Hinton really trying to reel him back in. Now up to a half a second is the difference. Remember how hot the racetrack is, over 100 degrees here today, so that's been
probably
playing in.
gone up too as well with these guys running on. Let's take a update on that.
106,
wow,
went up 4 degrees.
Yeah, so significantly slicker. Wow, you can see the 13, wow, loose all the way down the front straightaway.
Big smoke bomb down in pit lane. I believe that's Casey Lakatos in the 50. That car will be retired for the night. Yeah, 10th quicker that time for the 88, so I think that might be all the 13 has to offer, but he put up a great fight in the mid-portion of the race.
Did everything he could, and wow, you see the 31 of Rowan is very loose, all the way down to the white line.
And I think, as we just saw behind him, cue the Jaws music, because here comes Connor Horn.
And cue the, I guess, double Jaws music with the 62 catching both of them. So here's a potential battle shaping up for third here.
Yeah, 62 is the quickest car on the racetrack by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, and he does have the freshest tires by about a lap or so, that's due to that scenario there. So he's catching
these guys. High up he's running, Finian, all the way up against the outside wall.
Giving the cameraman whiplash. That's how close he's running to the wall.
I'll say. I'm curious to just watch the difference between him and the leaders. I don't think he's going to have enough time to run anybody down. And,
no.
But I just want to see how much he can make up, because he certainly is the quickest car on the track.
The Horn there loose off of 4. So now 42 Horn's got something difficult to do. He's got to get around the 31 while also trying to make sure the 62 can't pass him. Again, he is kind of fighting a losing battle here, but he's going to have to try to do his best to defend.
Well, he had the lead for a moment, did Angelo Ronis, but it's going to be all for naught here as Connor Horn's going to try to take this away for third off into turn 3, and right behind him, Burrows is going to take away that spot as well. And the 17 of Ben Izenga there trying to...
See all these guys loose down the front straightaway.
Yeah, they'll both take that spot away now. Look at the the 62 up into 4th now, battling for 3rd side by side with the 42 car. And again, this will be a very interesting finish. Wow, off of turn 2, door to door.
Great job by the 62 of Burrows to keep it off.
Not missing anything out front. Hutton is now leading by 1.05 seconds over Eli Hinton. Battle is now for 3rd. Anthony Burrows quicker than that of Connor Horn in the 42 car.
Yeah, he did a solid job up until there. Just was trying to make the pass work. Couldn't do it. The 42 Horn had such a good run off the corner.
Just amazed at how high that 62 is running. We haven't seen anybody try that high up the racetrack so far.
Yeah, save for the 42 ahead of him.
Both experimenting together. And because of this battle, they've been losing ground to the leaders now. But look at them following in. You see the arrow push there mid-corner. Burrows unable to get the car rotated, but now the 42 slips on exit. Here comes Anthony Burrows, going to try to take 3rd spot away on the front straightaway.
You see there, he's trying to take it while both these guys are sliding down the front straightaway.
It's spectacular to watch. Through turns 1 and 2, now Burrows and Horn. But again, this is there's Alec Daffin leaving the pits. This is going to be the 42 sideways off of turn 2. Again, give the advantage to Horn. That outside lane gives you such a good run down the back straightaway.
And here they go into 3, and I think Burrows might have him here, just with the better grip on those tires. There he goes, able to drive around.
42's really struggling in 3 and 4. There's Ben Izenga again. He's 2 laps down in 17th. Well, look, the 42's going to go back to the high laner. He's going to try. That's where he's been quicker. He's been better on this end of the racetrack, but I think the 62 is going to have him done here.
Yeah, I think the tires are just going to speak more volumes. There you see the 20 there, just off of pit road, how much faster he is.
Yeah, these guys are going to be in the kind of in the way here if they get around. So Alec Daffin in 17th. That's a battle for position, actually, the 17 and the 20, but the 20 is going to take it away and drive around the outside.
Just drive around the 40. There you just see the tire difference.
And drive around the 62 as well. Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, tires matter. And again, these guys are only, I think, 20 laps
old.
Yeah, so...
Battle for 3rd complete. Give it to Anthony Burrows.
And I think everyone's pretty much sorted themselves out for the most part.
Here's a guy that has made some great progress in recent laps here. Alec Martinez up to 6th in the number 18. Was running about 10th to 12th. And last week and this week, you see Banks up in the wall out of turn 2. But Martinez moving forward.
Pull up that pit graphic, the tire sense. There you go. I wanted to see that. So just wanted to take a look. So Banks actually has some slightly fresher tires.
Yeah, but the guys in front of Martinez, it's a long way to go with 20 laps left. But he's making up about a second. Or actually, excuse me. Well, yeah. He's making a pretty good time on the guys in front. So potential for Martinez to gain some ground.
So Martinez and Banks pretty much on the same strategy, differing by a lap. So they're kind of cutting through the field. They both got around Stravato. Strada had significantly older tires.
We're right on board now with Anthony Burrows in the 62. And again, this is just so much fun to watch him. Look at that line all the way up. He's probably got about 3 feet to the outside. And I walked into this race not thinking that the outside was going to be very effective at all. But these guys have just been putting on a show.
And actually, I'm kind of taking a look now. I don't think he would. I was looking at the lap and I was wondering if he maybe had a shot at catching the 13.
Well, he's gained about 0.4 of a second on the overall lead since he got around Connor Horn, but with 18 laps to go, you got to be taking huge chunks out. Not going to happen. Caution comes out. This guy might be you got to look for, though.
So keep tabs on that, but again, nothing really missing up towards the front of the field. Hutton's pretty much drove away from Eli by about 1.3 seconds now, the gap. And pretty much seemed to be the car to beat out of potential winners here.
You see the 20 of Alec Daffin. Wasn't he just passing the 4th place car a little bit ago? Look at him now passing the leader, Eric Hutton, getting a lap back, put him 1 lap down now. Everyone else pretty spread out here. Everyone's kind of gotten themselves sorted in their running order. So your top 5, 88, 13, 62, 42, 31. Alec Martinez now closing in on Ronis, but he's knocked about 1.5 seconds off that in the last couple laps. Potentially could get there if Ronis continues to drop off at the pace he is, but for now, Martinez sits in 6th. Bruce Boyer running in the top 10 here. Have a rough week at Chicago last week, involved in a wreck, I believe, but he's back here this week fighting on inside the top 10, putting on a good show.
Yeah, he's been having a solid day, just at around 10th place. Been keeping a good job of keeping his car there.
And Jordan Ashland also in the number 07, running 9th right now. Haven't seen him be much of a factor here tonight, but certainly running a nice, good, solid top 10 finish if he finishes where he is.
Yeah, we missed him for a race this season. I believe that was
Chicago, I believe.
Yeah, that was at Chicagoland, so he didn't make a start, so way down in the points at the moment, but trying to gain some here. He's going to gain quite a bit, finishing in 9th.
All right, well, Eli Hinton might have to do a little work here, Finney, in that 62. That purple car is getting a little bit bigger in the mirror, catching him a couple tenths a lap, and now has that gap between them two down to 1.7 seconds and closing. So only 15 to go, but we've seen how quick the tires drop off. They just fall off a cliff after a certain number of laps, and Hinton's really struggling.
And we saw even on the last run too that the 62 was able to drive his way up to the 13, so should be nothing really different from this here. Although it's more of a matter of does the 62 have enough time to both A, catch the 13 of Hinton, and B, make pass for position. So also 62's got some lap traffic ahead to try to navigate before he can get to the 13.
Well, 14 laps to go, coming to 13 to go. Eric Hutton leads by 1.6 seconds over Eli Hinton. Then it's Anthony Burrows, Connor Horn, Angelo Ronis. And then behind Ronis is Alec Martinez closing at a very fervent pace. That gap's down to 4.7 seconds. It was 7.8 the last time I looked a few laps ago.
Yeah, he's lapping by just enough to be catching Hinton, and would, at this rate, would almost pretty much catch him by the end of the race. So it's going to be very close. 2nd,
3rd. Not quite under a blanket, but they're close. And Connor Horton's kind of sticking in the mix as well. Not too far behind Anthony Burrows if something happens here. Burrows has the gap down to 1.5 seconds between the two. With 13 to go, there's Elliott Butler in 13th place. Has actually rebounded quite nicely. But they're struggling on a pit stop sequence.
Yeah, I think at this point he's kind of hoping for a caution come out because that would give him the free pass. So
you know who else is hoping for a yellow is that 13 car. I think he's got something for Hutton early in the run, but just can't hang on to the tires as well as the 88 car can. And we talked to Hutton earlier in the race, and he was really confident about his car in the long run, and He rightfully was, because he's out now by 1.8 seconds, just out by himself running laps and making time, continuing to make time, and still running even quicker than Anthony Burrows. How about the gap between Ronis and Martinez? 3.7 seconds, Vinny, and we might have a race on our hands for that spot.
Yeah, and Martinez is making huge chunks in. He's cutting the lead by cutting the gap by about 5/10 a lap.
Yeah, that's a half a second. That's a ton of time.
So, and he's doing, and he only in about 7 or 8 laps time, he should be there by that math. So he'll be there and be able to pass 31 for 5th place.
He's 8 of Jeremiah Vincent, now 1 lap down in 15th. I'm not really sure what happened to him. Maybe
might have been a speeding for him as well.
Potentially a speeding penalty for that car. Bruce Boyer now getting passed by Ivan Jones in the number 53. Here's a guy that's had a good night.
Yeah, him and the 14 both been kind of hovering around. And also, if you look not too far behind them, there's Mark Emerson in the 22.
Yeah, that car is fairly damaged, and this is what it was like at Chicago last week too. I mean, he's just really
good and then also laps down at the beginning as well.
I don't understand. He's really good at making. If he could just start the race with a fresh car and not be destroyed, he might actually have a good shot of winning one of these things this season. But he's putting himself at a deficit right from the get-go. But he actually potentially is going to easily pass the guys in front of him as they were fighting for position. That brings him right up next to him. AJ Stravato struggling now in that 33 car.
And all these guys here in picture are for position.
9 laps to go. Hutton still leads by 1.9 seconds, and it's Burrows now 1.1 behind. The battle for 5th is now separated by 2.3 seconds. Martinez will get there. It's just a matter of time.
So a bunch of battles shaping up here and there. You see the 14 diving below, trying to get ahead of the 53. Here comes the 22 of Emerson now.
Blows right by him.
Yeah.
Not even a chance there.
So there's the pass for 10th place. Does Mark Emerson have enough, though, to get to the 53? It's got a few laps to do it.
Oh, Finian Hinton really messed up that down at turns 1 and 2. 0.8 of a second separate him and Burrows. And remember, like last week, I think Hinton's going to want a repeat of last week, just beating Burrows to the line, but now coming to 7 to go. Does he have enough time to hang on to even second spot? We thought he might have the lead here, battling Hutton about 30 to 40 laps ago, but now just trying to hang on.
He's got to hold on for about 3 minutes here, but that's going to be like the longest 3 minutes of his life, trying to hold off that 62 that's charging in.
And other guys have a long 3 minutes. Look in the mirror now. The 18 of Martinez is showing up. You see Ronis struggling down the straightaway, bobbling the race car, but now the difference between them is 1.4 seconds. So Martinez continues to close at 5/10 of a second of a lap. That's a lot of time that Martinez is eating out. And there's next guy behind him is Joshua Banks, all the way coming out of turn 2. So I think it's going to be Martinez and Ronis battling for that top 5 spot. Meanwhile, Hinton continues to lose time to Burrows, 0.7 of a second separating them, coming to 5 to go at the line.
And Burrows right up against that wall, trying to maximize his run. And he's honestly going to get to Hinton on pretty much by the end of the race. And again, it's just a matter of will he have enough time to pass. Speaking of passing, there goes the 22, Mark Emerson to the inside, Ivan Jones. And that will be for 9th place.
Yeah, Emerson continues to make up ground here, and he'll take away 9th. But you mentioned it, Finian. That 88 car has been on a rail tonight, and Eric Hutton now takes 5 laps to go. But behind him, the battles are on. Eli Hinton, Anthony Burrows. Look at Burrows all the way up against that outside line. He's been making that work all night, and he's got to make it work for 5 more. But remember, it's always one thing to get up to somebody, a whole other thing to pass him.
Yeah, I just wondered, though, I don't think Hinton has enough car, really, to fight left with, so I think it's going to be kind of a losing battle for him. Again, it's just a matter of where the 62 gets up to him.
And behind, Ronis and Martinez, but Martinez has I think that's the 57 car, Chris Garrett. He's going to kind of in the way here. Martinez is pushed forward. Now it's down to half a second between him and Ronis, but that 57 kind of...
Whoa, and Ronis into the wall, I think.
Oh, yep, does he spin if he loses this video?
No, he's going to keep it going straight.
But there's your pass for the top 5, and he's going to lose that spot as well. That car's damaged heavily on that right side, and that's going to give Martinez 5th place, Joshua Banks 6th, and Ashland coming into picture here. He'll probably also get a spot away. So Ronis, one mistake, it's going to lose him more spots than he wanted to lose.
Yeah, right now, for between 2nd and 3rd, 0.5 of a second.
I don't know if Burrows has enough time here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm kind of doubting that. It's going to take a major mistake by Hinton to really ruin it.
Your top 5, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Toyota. your top 5 as we come now to 3 laps to go. 2 laps to go out of turn 4 for Eric Hutton. Been putting on a show ever since the midpoint. Hutton messed up here, or Hinton, excuse me, Finney messed up, and Burrow's now 0.3 of a second behind. He might still have a shot at this.
Oh, he's going to have to nail it mathematically. A 10th and a half a lap now.
Will Hinton make another mistake, though? I mean, that's probably what it's going to take, but he's been making enough the past couple laps. I don't think this is done just yet.
No, it definitely is not. And as 88 of Hinton's going to approach the white flag, this is pretty much the battle here that we're looking at.
Out of turn 4, one more time around for Eric Hutton. Chick-fil-A on the hood of that race car for the first time this season. He's put on a great show tonight. He'll take the white flag, but behind him, the race is on between Eli Hinton and Anthony Burrows for second place. Just like last week at Chicago, they finished 1 and 2 there. 2 and 3 up for grabs here this week.
You see Burrows, they're taking a lower line, trying to gain up some ground on the 13. I don't think it's going to be enough at this point.
Just a little bit too short. Sliding off of turn 2, but into turn 3, Eric Hutton. Started on the front row in second place. Was quickest in practice. And just dominated the race with the exception of one spot in the middle where Hinton led. But Eric Hutton wins at Atlanta after leading the most laps. And Hinton will hang on by 0.2 of a second over Burrows.
And then behind them, Connor Horn's going to come home in 4th. Alec Martinez is going to come home as he comes out of 4. He's going to cross the line in 5th place.
And after starting 28th, that was an incredible run for that 18 car tonight.
A solid job by him. Also, the 35, Joshua Banks, going to rebound for 6th place. Jordan Ashland going to finish 7th. Mark Emerson in 8th. Boost Bohr in 9th. Where's
out of fuel for the 31.
Wow.
Getting a pushback.
And that does make sense because he was one of the first guys to come down on that pit cycle.
Well, he's going to be the last car on the lead lap regardless. So 11th place is where the 31 will finish here tonight. Meanwhile, out in front of the field, Eric Hutton burnouts here and celebrated Atlanta for the first win of the season for that team. And well earned here this evening.
Yeah, solid job. Just pretty much did everything right today. Again, lost the lead, middle part of the with it, kept persisting. 13 was able to get around and never looked back since.
What a drive for Eric Hutton. Our race reporter here tonight put on one heck of a show and earned that one here tonight. Hinton and Burrows 2nd and 3rd. Great points days for that 13 and the 62. Martinez comes back in 5th place. We're going to talk to everybody here in just a couple minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live here to SimTV, here with race winner Eric Hutton. Eric, we talked to you in the mid portion of the race about the 13 of Eli Hinton, and he made up some ground on you on that green flag pit stop sequence, but you were able to hold him off and drive away a 2.5 second lead and a victory here for you, the first one of the season. Tell us about this race here tonight.
Yeah, just had to keep it up front. We had a rough first half of the race, a lot of cautions, more than I want to see, but finally got that long run. That's when the car really felt its best. And I think towards the end, I had about a second, maybe a little less than a second on Eli, and he made all that up on pit road entry. So we came out just neck and neck, and I just was trying to save but push at the same time, and think I just had a little more tire there at the end. But we had some great racing together. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, we saw a lot of the grip go away later in the run. What was the most comfortable line on the racetrack for you? We saw you up in the top in turns 1 and 2 and the bottom in 3 and 4. Did that change throughout the run? Did the track rubber up any, or how was the preferred line late in the race?
Yeah, I think going into 1, the high line was most comfortable and kind of turning it down mid-corner. And I thought riding right on the line in 3 and 4 was the best for me. I know a lot of guys are a lane up or even higher, but yeah, on the long run through 1 and 2, the highest side really.
All right, Eric. Well, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations on the victory here tonight. And hopefully, we'll see you in victory lane more this season. It was a pleasure watching your race here tonight.
Hey guys, thanks for the broadcast. We'll see you next week.
See you later. This guy we're going to talk to will be the driver of the number 13, Eli Hinton. Eli, you put on a great fight. That pit road entrance was the most epic piece of driving I've seen so far this year. Just came up 1 spot short and almost got passed by the 62 again for the 2nd straight week. But tell us about that last green flag run and your run to the finish.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. Like, 2nd place is good and all. I just wanted to get that back-to-back wins, but 2nd place is good. That was a great run by everybody in the league. What was it, like 80 laps or 90 laps or something like that? It's a great run. Wrists are hurting. And yeah, that pit entrance was pretty epic.
Yeah, we saw you. I have to ask you because we can't see your speed live, at least we're actually on the replay when we were checking out your entrance. But did you enter the pit road at pit road speed, or were you over and had to slow down to make up?
I was like at 52. I knew I could go a little faster, so I gassed it up a little bit to get closer. And I could have stayed beside him, but I was just going to get behind him because I wasn't sure if we could do that or not.
All right, I have to ask because you had the pace at the beginning of the run, but what did you need to get by Hutton there? You looked like the first couple laps you had the pace for him, but then slowly slipped away.
Yeah, he just had the pace on the long run compared to me. I think in 3 and 4, cause I couldn't hug that white line. I don't know what it was. I couldn't hit it right, and he was hugging the white line, but I would run like a lane up or whatever, and he was saving his tires better. I couldn't figure it. He's just way faster.
All right, Eli. Well, congratulations on another solid top 2 finish. It's been a good season for you so far, and hopefully you can see you continue.
Thank you.
No problem. There's quite the drama happening outside our apartment right now. All right, we're talking with the 3rd place driver, and Anthony Burrows. That was quite the show you put on again for the 2nd straight week. Just unable to get around Eli Hinton again, but you had the pace to get around him if you had a couple more runs.
Yeah, definitely. I was giving it my all that last run. I kind of messed up on my pit stop, like overshot my box a little bit. I feel like I could have had something for Eric at the end if I didn't do that. But yeah, nonetheless, that second half of the race was awesome. I think it was caution free. So yeah, long runs here are pretty sketchy, but it was a lot of fun at the same time. So yeah, definitely looking forward to a lot more of that in this league.
All right, Anthony. Well, thanks for talking to us. It was a pleasure watching you track down Eli again. Great work of driving this racetrack here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and our 4th and final interview tonight will be the driver of the number 18, Alec Martinez. And Alec, you started deep in the field tonight, 28th, and worked your way through methodically and ended up with a solid top 5 finish after running down the 31 of Angelo Ronas from a long ways back. Tell us about that race, because it was certainly a long one for you, but you managed to bring home a top 5.
Yeah, really interesting. It's a good race. Really, it was all about tire saving the whole time. And I knew when they pitted about I think it was 10, 15 laps before, I knew that if I were to get by Joshua, I think I was going to have a chance at Angelo. I thought I was going to have a good chance at Connor, but Connor, too fast. So, but, it's a good race, good clean race. I'm glad we had that. I think it was an 80-something lap run, so I'm not sure. But it was a really good race, and I'm glad that we can bring a top 5 run for this new team.
And I want to ask you, because it looked like you had quite a bit of pace there in the late stages. I'll let you know that your final lap there was only 2/10 off of the winner's pace, and you're 1/10 off of the 2nd place driver and quicker than Connor Horn that last time through. If we were put in a late race caution situation and you got 4 tires on that car, do you think you could have gotten a little bit more?
No. Sadly, I hate to say it, but no, I couldn't have. I did not have short run speed. We had more of the long run car than I did short run. I mean, I might have still stayed where I was, maybe got one more, but definitely could have got up to second. I don't think I could have. I knew my car was definitely fast, but once we had 10, 15 lap on the tires, I think that's when my car really started to prevail. But if we had like a 2, 3 lap shootout, I might have stayed where I was, might have lost a few positions, might have gained a few, but I don't know. It's unknown.
All right, Alec. Well, thanks for talking to us. A nice, solid top 5 finish for you. 3rd race of the season. And good luck in the rest. We'll hopefully talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, so that is it for the interviews here tonight. Finita, absolutely phenomenal race. This again, Chicagoland had a lot of cautions last week, but the end of the race did not disappoint. And this whole race, really from the halfway point on, just a spectacular show again by the Virtual Racing League.
Yeah, and you can't say enough. I mean, just from looking at the way these guys are driving, Atlanta's a hard place to drive, up there with Darlington as one of the toughest places on the NASCAR circuit to get around. And these guys did a fantastic job, especially in the second half of the race, keeping it clean and still racing pretty hard.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there was a lot of attrition out there towards the tail end of the field, but again, you mentioned it, Finney. This is probably one of the hardest tracks that on the schedule, save for the road courses, but this is a very difficult place to keep it going straight, and these drivers did a phenomenal job. In the wreck avoidance tonight, a lot of the wrecks happened on the front straightaway. That's a very hard place to miss wrecks, and there was some wrecks that could have been 10, 15 car accidents that were reduced down to 2. So phenomenal driving from everyone here tonight. Hutton comes out on top, hitting again a nice solid top 2 finish, and Anthony Burrows proving to be one of the best drivers of the season so far. Well, we got a race with him next week, Finney, and I don't even know where we are next week. I have to take a look at the schedule for me, but it's been a great performance so far. Michigan, that's right. I think it's actually Old Michigan too. Could be wrong about that, but we'll have to double check. But Michigan on the schedule next week, so we go to a 2-mile racetrack, and again, another low grip track that'll be a lot of fun to watch these guys rip around. So thanks for watching here on Sim TV. Next broadcast will be Tuesday night, Integrity Series Racing finale from Homestead, Miami. That's a Truck Series League, and we got 4 guys going for the checkers. So meet us there on Tuesday night, and we have Virtual Mars Series Racing on Wednesday. From actually 2 weeks from now. I think is it next week? I don't even know what our schedule is, Penny. I'm awful at this.
It is next week.
Virtual Mars Series Racing GT3 action from Sebring. So that's what's on their plate the next couple weeks. And again, thanks for watching here on Sim TV, and we'll see you Tuesday.
Saved it there.
You can see how I don't even know what I'm doing. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good night.